Good morning, children. Today we are going to continue with the history lesson Spread of Modern Education in India. Now, in the earlier class, we have read about the motives of British education policy, then the evolution of educational policy of the British, and the influence of Orientalism on the British education policy. Today, we are going to start with the Anglicist point of view regarding the education. So, before we start, let us see the difference between the Orientalist and Anglicist. Orientalists were those who favored Sanskrit and Persian as the medium of instruction, and Anglicists are those who favor English as the medium of instruction. Then Anglicists were supporting English language based on modern education, whereas Orientalists were supporting Sanskrit and Persian language. So today we will take the Anglicist point of view regarding the education in India during the British time. Many British officials they criticized the Orientalist point of view. What they wanted that Indians they should be taught the scientific education of the West through the medium of English. And many people they supported this view, and James Mill was one of the supporter of Anglicist point of view. According to James Mill, he felt that if Indians were given the Western education, they would accept and understand the British rule, and they would be easily working as clerks in the British administration. Then one of the British officer of East India Company, Lord Macaulay, he was a very leading supporter of Anglicist. Now, according to Lord Macaulay, India was an uncivilized country and it needed to be civilized. So, according to him, if Indians were taught English, they would come to know about the scientific ideas and rich literature of the West. Thus, by learning English, Indians would become civilized. The controversy between the Orientalist and the Anglicist was settled in 1835 when the British government they decided that their education policy will be to teach Western science and literature through the medium of English language in India. So, as a result of this, in 1854, the Court of Directors of the East India Company they sent a dispatch, educational dispatch, to the Governor General of India. This dispatch was called as Wood's Dispatch, and it was named after Sir Charles Wood, who was the president of Board of Control. Now, as a result of this Wood's dispatch, the Department of Education was set up in all the provinces, and universities were set up in Calcutta, Bombay, and Madras in 1857. Now, this British education policy had both positive as well as negative impact. So, let's first see the negative impact of British education policy on India. The Indian education was given through pathshalas and madrasas. So this declined because of the force of Western education. And there was a great loss because many children were getting education through pathshalas and madrasas in the rural areas. Then the emphasis on English as a medium of instruction in place of Indian languages. It prevented the spread of education to the masses. Then there was a wide linguistic and cultural gap between the Western educated Indians and the masses. At the same time, students had to pay fees in schools and colleges, and education became a costly affair and it was beyond the reach of ordinary citizen. The British education policy also neglected the education for girls, and they also neglected scientific and technical education. By 1857, there were only three medical colleges in Bombay, Madras, and Calcutta, and only one engineering college at Roorkee, and that was only open for the Europeans. Then there was a problem of finance also The British government was never interested in spending more money on education for the Indians. However, there were certain positive impact of British education policy on India. Let us see those positive points. A large number of Indians they developed a rational, secular, democratic and nationalist outlook. Then the educated Indians were the first one to feel the humiliation of the British rule. These people they were inspired by the ideas of American and French Revolution, and so they started questioning the unjust policies of the British rule. At the same time, the English language it played an important role in uniting the educated Indians, and it became a medium of communication and exchange of ideas between the educated Indians from different parts of the country.